Aloha, welcome back to the channel. My name is Lee Scott. I'm a working photographer here on Kauai, and I'm really excited to share this video with you because I'm heading back to Tanzania. Have calving season of the Great Migration Safari coming up. I'm meeting 4 clients in Arusha at Kilimanjaro International Airport. We're going to overnight in Arusha at River Trees Country Inn for 3 nights, then head into Tarangire National Park for 2 nights, outside of Ngorongoro Crater for 2 nights, and then 4 nights in my favorite place ever, Ndutu of the southern Serengeti, where the Great Migration is having babies. This episode is all about what to pack for a photo safari. We're going to go over the clothes that you might want to take, the size of luggage, the weight restrictions, and of course, the most important stuff, the camera gear. Let's look at the cameras and lenses. Everything I'm taking is going to be inside the Pelican 1535 carry-on hard case, rolling hard case. This case is absolutely fantastic. Let's open it up and see what's inside. Main camera body to take is the Canon R1. I think the R1 is going to be fantastic out there on safari. We have 2 CF Express B cards in, 512 gigabyte each card, so loads of memory in here, and an absolutely wonderful battery in the R1. So that's something that you're going to be looking for in your primary camera. High frame rate, fast, accurate autofocusing system that's capable of tracking the animals, wonderful battery life. I will pair the Canon R1 with the RF 400 2.8. Pretty cool little thing here. Pops right on and off. This is the first African safari with this lens. In the past, I've used the RF 600 f4. The 600 f4 is excellent lens, especially for all of the beautiful bird life that you're going to see on safari. However, for a lot of the larger animals, the lens was a little too long. The other aspect of this 400 2.8 is the size factor. That 600 f4 would not fit in the Pelican case, so I needed to carry an extra bag just for that lens. This RF 400 fits in the Pelican case. It's going to give me absolutely outstanding image quality while on safari, especially in Ndutu when we can go off-roading. And I'm going to challenge myself while on safari, go for one of those environmental portraits, animal and landscape type shots. That's something I'm going to really work on, round out that portfolio a bit. Put the animal in the landscape, and I'm going to try to share some of the beauty of the Serengeti and of Tarangire, and of course of the Ngorongoro Crater. Now, for those moments when I do want to get closer, I'm taking the 1.4 extender to pair with the RF 400 2.8 lens. My belief on extenders is never miss the shot putting on an extender. So only put on the extender if you have it handy and ready, and if you can put it onto the lens without missing the shot. Don't rush yourself just trying to get that extra length when you can crop in, or when you can take that really beautiful animal and landscape shot. We're taking the RF extender 1.4 extender along for the ride. And we'll wrap it up and put it in. Next, how many cameras should you take? I think you should take 2. Take a backup, take a primary and a backup. If you're only taking 1, you can certainly have a very successful safari with just 1, but keep in mind it is dusty. You're not going to be wanting to change lenses a lot, but you certainly will need to change lenses from time to time, and always change lens if you think it's necessary to get the shot. I believe you should take a second camera body with you. I am taking the Leica SL3. Leica is not going to be the best wildlife camera. We know this. The SL3 from Leica is an absolutely beautiful camera with amazing image quality. But it must be said, it's not the best wildlife solution. But it's what I have, and that's what I'm taking. So what am I going to pair with the Leica SL3? It is the Leica 90 to 280. This telephoto zoom will be wonderful for elephants and giraffe, and for those moments when the animals are close or when we can approach them. Another scenario where I envision this 90 to 280 and the Leica to be phenomenal are for those morning landscape shots with the sunrise, and we have an acacia tree, the beautiful landscapes that you're going to encounter while on safari. Many of the animal scenarios I have covered. What we don't quite have is the all-purpose lens and camera just to document the safari, to photograph the lodges, to photograph the Land Cruiser, your friends and family who's joining the safari with you, and some of those beautiful scenics where we might want a little wider lens. So my solution for that type of photography is the Leica Q2 Reporter. I really believe it's important to have a capable point and shoot camera with you at all times while on safari. If you're only taking one camera and one lens, I recommend a telephoto zoom, something in the 100 to 400 from Nikon or from Leica if you're shooting the SL, or maybe a Sigma 100 to 400, 150 to 600. And if you're shooting Canon, it's hard to beat the 100 to 500 lens. Sony 200 to 600. What camera body? I recommend something from Sony, Nikon, Canon. Full frame sensor, fast, accurate autofocus. Canon, obviously we have R1, R3, very, very capable, R5 Mark II, R5 as well, or the R6 Mark II. Sony, you have the A1s and all of the A7R series, fantastic. Nikon, Z9, amazing, Z8, amazing as well. And then if you want something exotic, Fuji's making really nice lenses now for that GFX 100 medium format. They have a 400 millimeter equivalent. So that's something to consider. And if you're an S-mount, Leica or the Panasonic, look at some of those Sigma zooms. So that's the camera gear, the main camera gear that we are taking on the trip. And again, all of this fits into my amazing Pelican case, the 1535. What else do we need to take as far as the photography? I am taking the Atomos Ninja so I can show you how well the Canon R1 autofocus performs. We have a 1 terabyte Angelbird SSD on the Ninja. We have an action cam, Osmo Action 4 we're taking, as well as I will be taking the Pocket Osmo as well. And those are going to be really useful for just documenting the safari, maybe giving a tour of the camp to show friends and family back home, something of the Land Cruiser. And there's going to be opportunities as well where that lion is going to walk right next to the Land Cruiser, and without reaching out the window, staying in the vehicle, you can use that action cam and kind of give a really nice scene of everything. Extra memory cards, that's something you definitely want to take, and loads of batteries, especially if you're shooting the Leica SL3. It eats through batteries, so take batteries. And then of course we need an extra battery for the R1, battery for the Atomos Ninja, and the little small items for the Atomos Ninja, HDMI cable, hot shoe mount. We're going to put that in a little bag, and we're going to try to keep everything nice and neat and organized. Batteries for the action cam, the Osmo. And then lastly, we have the drop-in polarizer for the Canon RF 400 2.8. Hopefully we're going to catch some elephants in a watering hole, and that polarizer is going to help. Also in that long days with the midday sun, that African sun's pretty strong. That's the camera gear. Now we have for the game drive. I think it's important to have a bag with you for all the odds and ends that you're going to need while you're on the game drive. So take a little bag, a little kangaroo pouch, put your extra memory cards in, as well as the batteries, the small things, filters, action cam, batteries again, and you're all set. All right, so you have your little kangaroo pouch of extra memory cards, filters if you're taking them, and extra batteries. What else might you want to take on the game drive every day with you? One, a bottle. Your game drive vehicle is going to have water and other beverages in the refrigerator, but you're going to want a water bottle of some kind. Your outfitter, the Safari operator, may provide a bottle for you, but just in case, take one along, and then you can always keep this in your room at camp as well. I think it's also very important to have some sort of electrolyte replacement or energy drink, sports drink, just to help for the long days, dry days, dusty days in the heat, bouncing around the Safari vehicle over the savannah. So go on and put some Noon or something equivalent in your kangaroo pouch. Any medicines that you might need, take those with you. And then of course, sunscreen. Apply sunscreen in the morning before you head out and take it with you and apply as needed throughout the day. So that's our kangaroo pouch is all set up for goodies to take on the game drive. Water bottle, kangaroo pouch, that's the Atmos. Next, we're going to want a pair of binoculars out there, so be sure to invest in a nice pair of binoculars. Probably the best bang for your buck is going to be the Nikon or I believe it's Vitrox maybe. They have really wonderful binoculars that aren't too expensive. These are a Canon 10x42, so nice and bright, great magnification, and this is the image stabilized binocular from Canon. I get a little seasick, so it's nice when you're scanning out over the horizon. I just push this button here and then it stabilizes the image just as it does in Canon lenses. So this will be very, very useful, especially in Ndutu as we scan out over the Safari vehicle, looking out over the green savanna, the endless plains of the Serengeti, and if we see a cheetah, we can drive right out to it. So take a pair of binoculars. It'll be really useful for birds as well. Any leopard in a tree, so you can see those spots, and it just gives you a little more time to appreciate these animals. And that's something to consider. I know we're going for photography, and I know we have this huge case full of equipment and we're all excited, but don't be so busy considering the photo that you actually forget to enjoy the moment. Sometimes don't change lens, just take it in. Just listen to the Serengeti, listen to the animals, and enjoy the experience for what it is. All right, next thing we're going to take with us for that Safari vehicle for the game drives is a hat. I hate photographing in baseball caps, so I always wear a bush hat, a bucket hat, broad-brimmed hat. Something is going to be necessary to keep that hot sun off you. One thing I'm bringing for my clients are bean bags. My guide in Tanzania has beans for us. We're going to fill these up and we'll have bean bags to shoot from in the Safari vehicle. So that is the game drive necessities. If I'm forgetting anything, let me know in the comments. What do you take on each game drive? What do you think is an essential item to have out there on Safari? Also, let me know what lenses and what camera you recommend. If you've done a Safari with a Leica, let me know. I'd love to hear your experience with that. Moving on from the photography to the game drive, now we are ready to talk about the items that you want to pack for your lodge for this stay. We have to be careful with how much clothing we take with us. So we need to pack judiciously, because when we ride the bush planes, Coastal Airlines has a very strict weight limit. We have to keep that in consideration. So if we're wanting to take a lot of camera equipment, we cannot also take a lot of clothing. My recommendation is pack light, wash and wear. Wear one, wash one. All of the lodges and camps that we're staying at have a laundry service. River Trees Country Inn in Arusha and Plantation Lodge in Karatu, they even have a washer and dryer. So they will wash our smalls for us, our underwear. The laundry that's done at the bush camps, the staff does it by hand. So they don't accept our underwear. So we have to take enough underwear, take enough smalls to get us through to the next lodge with the washer and dryer. So I've kept that in mind, and let me get the bag right now. The bag that we're taking with us is going to be a Patagonia 40 liter. I really believe 40 liters will be enough capacity for everything that we need to take on our safari. If you can't get it in the 40 liter bag, you're taking too much. Weight restrictions are really tight on the small bush planes that you're going to be flying in, especially from Ndutu Airstrip. In all honesty, I've never been checked at Ndutu Airstrip, but in the central Serengeti, I was overweight and they almost didn't let me onto the plane. So we really have to take this into consideration. I think when you're dressing, consider dressing in layers. The first item of clothing that you're going to want to take is a lightweight puffy or equivalent. A lightweight puffy or a hoodie, something that's going to keep you warm in the mornings, especially out on the Serengeti. It's cool. Karatu and Ngorongoro Crater on the rim, those places are also a little chilly. So in that open vehicle, you're going to want that hoodie. My hoodie is actually going as carry-on, so we'll put it in with the camera equipment. Next will be an emergency medical kit. Your guide's going to have one, but it's always nice to have one just in case if you need it while at any of the lodges or overnight you have a tummy ache. So have an emergency medical kit with your ibuprofen, your aspirin, Bactine, Neosporin, Band-Aids, Imodium, something for that little upset stomach. So we're going to put this in. Always travel with a belt. You can do all kinds of fun stuff with the belt. And have a smaller bag with your essentials. Socks, underwear, and maybe any medicines that you might need, deodorant, that sort of thing. For me, I like socks that cover the ankles but don't go any higher. So I use a lot of mountain biking socks, running socks. I like to keep my ankles covered to prevent some of those nasty bug bites. But remember, you can wash socks all throughout the safari. So just take enough underwear to last you to the next lodge with the washer and dryer, and then you're good to go. As far as main clothing goes, you're going to want bush colors, all right? You want to stay away from bright colors, no bright whites, no bright pinks, bright oranges. You want to kind of be incognito out there. You want to be stealth mode. Also, no blacks or blues. Those attract the tsetse flies. I like these lightweight t-shirts. We're taking 3 of these lightweight t-shirts. These are the Capeline from Patagonia, not sponsored by Patagonia, but as you can tell, I wear a lot of Patagonia. Another bush-colored t-shirt, and then bush-colored long-sleeve t-shirt. So I start out each day with the puffy t-shirt, long-sleeve t-shirt. The first item of clothing that I take off is, of course, the puffy. By around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, I'll take this off, and then midday, I'm just in a t-shirt. Back at camp, we'll put a long sleeve on. And bush colored green, we have a sage item. So 3 t-shirts and 2 long sleeve shirts is what I'm packing, and I travel in the same setup. Okay, next will be the trousers. Trousers, wear one, wash one. I wear lightweight, long trousers that I can roll up and maybe make it into a capri or even roll it up around my knees. Give me a little air. Another really wonderful option as far as the clothing is going to be the convertible pants. The ones that you can zip off. So that you start out with long trousers on for the cool morning, at sunrise when the bush wakes up, and then as the day progresses you can unzip the legs, and then you have shorts, zip them back up when you get back at camp. So 2 long trousers, lightweight trousers, and swim trunks. So board shorts or swim trunks. A couple of the lodges will have swimming pools. I don't really go swimming, but sometimes after a long day, after a long successful day out in the bush, just plunge into that pool and cool off. It feels really good. And organization is key, so I like to keep everything organized in these little f-stop bags that I have. I'm sure other manufacturers and companies have little travel bags for you, but these are really essential to keep everything nice and tidy in your bag. And I found an essential item, DEET. I hate DEET, but when I go up to Alaska or when I go on an African safari, I'm always using DEET. You might want to use, I think, Picardin, something like that I've heard. Normally I am all rainbow eucalyptus, organic, tea tree oil, bug spray, but the bug juice I take to the bush is DEET. So we're going to put this in our kangaroo pouch that we're going to have with us at all times on the game drives. So these are the shoes that I'm traveling in. We'll do a little walking safari in Arusha National Park. Closed toe shoes, I think that's the way to go. Normally I'm all slippers, sandals, whatever, but on safari I take nice comfy walking shoes. Binoculars go in the case. Same with the hat. And bean bags go in. Okay, now you noticed with the RF 400 2.8, I did not have the lens hood on it. With the lens hood in place, it's not going to fit in the Pelican case, so that's going to have to travel separately, but that's not a problem. We're just going to slide it in here in the bag, and we'll figure out a way to do it. We'll put our socks and stuff, our small items, we're going to put inside of the case. There we go. Clothes go back in. All right, so now we're seeing 40 liters is getting pretty tight, but we are still good to go. Kangaroo pouch goes in. All right. We have just enough space for charging accessories. Charging accessories. For the Leica setup, you're going to need something to charge the Leica batteries and something to charge the Canon R1. This goes in. Travel adapter for different sockets. Tanzania is actually the same as the UK, but they have all kinds of sockets. Actually, they have these crazy ones with the 3 prongs. They have the 2 round ones, and they even have this kind of American style one. So my experience has been that these aren't absolutely essential, but they are very, very helpful. So we'll take those along. Next, iPhone charger. Don't forget the iPhone charger. We're going to throw that in. Okay, fits right in there. We'll put the USB-C chargers up top with the extra noon. Next, card reader and the Atomos SSD reader. These also go up top because we're going to use these quite often. Put that in there. Good to go. One more thing I forgot. This is going to be for the game drives. Your sunglasses. Take your sunglasses. Normally I don't ever photograph in sunglasses, but because it's so dusty out there and the light is so strong, you will need some sunglasses out there. I personally haven't found the dust to be too bad, but my wife said that I need to recommend you take a handkerchief or a bandana or something for the dust. Again, I haven't really had any bad experiences with the dust, but she says it's something to consider. So, okay, we're pretty full. The water bottle goes in, and we have enough space for a few more odds and ends, but we're pretty well packed. This gives us the opportunity to talk about the packing strategy. Do it once and see if everything fits, and if it does, you're good to go. But if you're surprised that everything doesn't fit, then maybe have a hard talk with a bottle of wine or a beer, or I guess a bottle of beer and a glass of wine, and see how everything goes. But this is the gear. Done and dusted. All good to go. Next, essentials that you're going to need. Passport and some cash. Take some cash to tip the staff. Everyone that you're going to meet on the safari, from porter to the porter at the airport, to your transfer driver, to room attendant, concierge, front desk, waiters, everyone that you're going to meet, guide, night game drive guide, all of these different individuals that you're going to meet throughout your safari while in Tanzania, they are working so hard to give you a safe, enjoyable experience. It's going to be absolutely one of the best trips of your life, and there's a lot of people who are helping to make that possible. So show the love, spread the aloha, give some tips. US dollars are in demand. They really like US dollars over there in Tizzy, so I personally don't even exchange any money at the airport. I'll just use cash throughout my shopping. Clean, fresh, crisp bills with no rips or tears or stains, and they need to be recently printed as well. So if you're giving hundos, make sure it's the blue hundos. Those are going to be most well received. And then of course, if you have your visa beforehand, get your visa beforehand online. It's really easy to do. The only thing that's difficult is resizing your documents. Resizing the passport photo and the photo of your physical passport and the PDF document for your airline ticket. That's the only thing that's complicated. Everything else is pretty straightforward. Love Tanzania for that. And lastly, we're going to talk about storage strategies. Here we go. Storage strategy. I have not had a laptop for probably 10 years. However, after my recent trip to Japan photographing with the Leica and realizing that my photography would have benefited from having a laptop and having the ability to review some of the files while traveling, pushed me to purchase a laptop. So we're going to take a laptop on the trip. I have the M4 MacBook Pro. This is going to be my storage strategy, M4 MacBook Pro and a 2 terabyte Lacia Rugged Pro SSD. For the photos that I'm going to take each day, we're going to download to the SSD via the Lightroom catalog. Take a laptop. First safari I used Naomi's laptop to download the files to clear out the memory cards. Second one I did in Ruaha, I didn't take anything. Last year I planned to use an iPad to transfer, but when I got there I couldn't figure it out. I did a test run, but it didn't work. Or the test run worked well, but I forgot how I did it. So that wasn't too good, especially just to clear out those memory cards every day and then reformat those cards to keep them nice and fresh. The other great thing with the laptop is we have some space for a few items. So we're going to put in the Atmos Ninja in here. Of course, the charging cable goes in, as does our SSD and dongle. Little towel. So this is the second carry-on with the essentials, and we're all set. While on Safari, don't be doing too much editing, but certainly look at the files, make sure everything's good to go. Test out some of those settings, especially for the autofocus. Check and make sure it's hitting. Check at that shutter speed, right? Or especially after that first or second day, see if that shutter speed at 1/500th of a second with that telephoto that maybe you're not as comfortable using. Make sure everything's lined up and everything's sharp and crisp, and then evaluate if you need to increase shutter speed or if you need to use a different lens. We have to think critically about the photos we're taking in order to improve our photography. All right, that's it. Camera equipment, check. Kangaroo pouch to take with us while on Safari game drives, check. Clothes, wear one, wash one. That's the mantra, wear one, wash one, wear one, wash one. And storage solutions, external SSD and a laptop. And you are good to go for a trip of your lifetime to Tanzania. Karibu, asante sana. We're gonna have a blast. Hope to see you there sometime. Aloha.